faked $619 billion, and the world believed him. Investors thought they had found the safest institution in the history of American finance. It was not a market crash or a mistake. It was a calculated, deliberate lie. He had one chance to tell the truth. Instead, he doubled down on his gamble. Richard Fuld would rather destroy his bank than admit his bet was worthless. 25,000 people worked there. In 2 days, their jobs were gone. They arrived at work on Monday morning to find their access denied. Collapse did not just break the bank, it fractured the global economy. For years, no one questioned the numbers. Then, one analyst noticed a single detail. At the end, you will know what that detail revealed. The $619 billion collapse had a hidden cause. Richard Fuld, known as the Gorilla, had been the king of Wall Street for 14 years. By 2007, the bank had leveraged its capital at 30-1. They were betting everything on a housing market that had already begun to crumble. Internal memos prove Fuld was warned about the toxicity of his portfolio years earlier. The official narrative blamed a sudden market panic. That was a convenient fiction. The warnings were ignored. The real mechanism was hidden in plain sight. He used an accounting trick to hide $50 billion of debt from their balance sheet. This trick meant that every time an auditor looked, the debt seemed to simply vanish. In 2007 alone, they originated $54 billion in toxic subprime mortgages. Fuld rejected multiple merger offers that could have saved the firm that summer. He believed the government would never let his bank fail. He was wrong. On September 12th, the highest officials in the country gathered to discuss the bank's final hours. Treasury Secretary refused to provide a guarantee for their failing assets. Until the very last hour, Fuld insisted the firm was well capitalized and misunderstood. Collapse triggered a global credit freeze that paralyzed the world's financial markets. David, an analyst, lost his entire pension and savings in the company's stock. Sarah, a mother of two, arrived on Monday to find her security badge deactivated. Thousands of employees were forced to sell their homes as their deferred compensation evaporated. Ripple effect caused the first major money market fund to fail in 14 years. $10 trillion in global market value was wiped out in just a few weeks. While his employees lost their livelihoods, Fuld had earned $484 million. Fuld sold $40 million of stock while telling everyone else to hold. The board approved a $22 million exit package for him as the firm died. Bankruptcy was a choice to ignore the market. He chose his ego over the survival of a 158-year institution. Fuld took $484 million, while the $619 billion debt destroyed everyone else. $619 billion was the final price of his ego. Collapse forced a $700 billion taxpayer bailout for the industry. Richard Fuld was never criminally charged for the firm's collapse. He walked away with his fortune intact, while the public paid the bill.